You want to live a life on fire and on mission. You want to be filled with such conviction and drive that you stop caring about what anyone thinks. You want to face each day alive, authentic, and fully present in every moment. With your wife, with your kids, on the street, at work. You want to bring yourself to the table and to stop bringing the watered-down, nice, what everyone wants version of you. You want that self to be a man who is burning in passion for Jesus, unafraid to bring his kingdom to anyone in your path, no matter what it costs you. You want to love the one in front of you without fear, without needing love back, and without reserve. You want to husband well. You want to father well. You want to shepherd your life well. You want to be a safe pillar for anybody around you. You want to experience God for real, to not just believe, but to know that he's got you and that he'll show up on your behalf, that he'll show up through you. You want to get to the end of your race and say, yep, I gave it everything. Jesus, you know I'm all in. And you want to know just how to get there. Welcome to Man Warrior King. I'm your host, Matt Halleck. Congratulations. You're among the violent, taking the kingdom by force. You're among the chosen, answering the call to rise above yourself. You're in the forge, being stripped down and strengthened, and you will rise stronger, solid, unshakable. You are a man. You're a warrior. You are a king. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Man Warrior King podcast. I'm your host, Matt Halleck, the author of the book, The DNA of a Man, and the founder of the Man Warrior King movement. And I want to talk to you today about seed time and harvest. So a lot of men find themselves getting discouraged and giving up and abandoning ship and changing course when they don't see the results that they were hoping for. And they don't see the results that they were hoping for in a time frame that they had envisioned. So my wife and I, we often pray for healing for people at the end of our church services on Sunday mornings. We are part of the prayer teams that people come forward and ask for prayer for all kinds of different things. And this one young gentleman in particular had come up to us the first time asking for prayer for healing for his neck, which was in a good deal of pain and stiffness, and he couldn't move it around too much, and it was very, very much getting in the way of doing life, and so definitely needing some healing. And so the first week that he came up to us, we prayed over him and commanded healing into his neck and everything. And he did see some significant change from that first session of prayer. It didn't go away completely, but it was significantly better after that. And he came up to us again, and I don't remember. I'm going to blow it on the timeline here. It was either a week or 2 weeks after that. He was encouraged by the progress that had lasted over that time period, but he wanted more. He wanted it to be completely gone, obviously. So he came back for more healing prayer, and we were happy to give it. We prayed for him again that time, and I don't remember there being much significant as far as healing goes and any change or anything like that. And at that point in the process, many people would get discouraged because, well, if Jesus is going to heal, then isn't he going to just do it all the way? And isn't it going to just happen the first time? And if I don't see anything happen when on the second, week of praying for this guy, what the heck? Isn't it supposed to work? Maybe this is wrong. Maybe there's nothing to this. Maybe it's not correct theology. Maybe I should give up. Maybe I should change my conviction because I'm not seeing the results that would satisfy my conviction. So most people would start to think that way. But on that second session of praying for him and not seeing anything, I would have been a lot more excited to see some results happen right then and there, of course. And there's always a little bit of like, oh man, if you don't see anything happen. But at the same time, I was not anywhere close to getting discouraged or to thinking maybe Jesus doesn't want to heal him, or like just trying to like go and do soul searching to wonder what's wrong with me that I can't see his neck get completely healed. There's nothing like that going on. In fact, I was fine. And it was 2 weeks ago, which at that point had been about 2 months since he first came to us for prayer. He came back up to us again, and in this time was like extremely excited, and he was like, "It's gone. I want you guys to know my neck is totally better. It's completely well." And come to find out, he's been doing a study with our senior pastor on healing and like learning from history some of the patterns that we see in physical healing and praying for it. And that there's a big trend of people receiving prayer for healing and having the healing kind of fully play itself out in a 1 to 2 month time period. Meaning, right then and there when you're praying, a lot of times you're not seeing the results yet. Now, I've seen quite a few times of people getting healed instantly in the moment, and that's super exciting. And so this is not to downplay that and to like say that the only way Jesus ever heals is gradual, and then you're like, well, is it really him healing or is time doing the healing? So it's nothing like that. But sometimes the healing does take a little bit of time to get fully manifest. And I want to use this as a bit of a case study for your life. So, what is it that you are pushing for, that you want to see transformation in, that you want to see come to pass in your family, in your marriage, in your job, in your ministry, in your body, that you're not seeing? What is it that you want to see that you're not seeing? And I want to ask you, what has entered into your mind about this thing? What kinds of thoughts are you allowing yourself to agree with at this point, however long into the process you are, without seeing results? And I understand that 2 months is a much different story than 2 years or 20 years. I'll be honest, gentlemen, I'm 16 years in to my fight with massive disease that would, if it had its way, take me out. I'm 16 years in and very much in the thick of battle. I have not experienced true, unmedicated, sustained improvement yet. So I get it. But I'm not about to say that, okay, well, I'm going to give up on complete healing at the hands of Jesus, not at the hands of doctors, at the hands of Jesus. I'm not willing to say I'm going to give up on that because it's been 16 years. Because when you plant a seed under the surface of the dirt, there is a time where you don't see jack. That seed is sitting under the dirt, and you can't tell, unless you were to dig it up and look at it, whether anything is happening or not, whether there's any life in that thing or not. And if farmers made it a habit several days into the planting season, after they've planted the seeds on the ground, to go back through and dig up everything that hasn't sprouted yet, they'd be broke because they'd have no harvest come harvest time. Because they would have abandoned the process. They would have abandoned the mission when it was still in its seed time stages. So where are you getting tempted right now to abandon your mission? To abandon the mission of transformation in the area that you need it? Are you saying it's not going to happen? I better look for help somewhere else. I better divert my effort to somewhere that might show results. Are you thinking that way, or are you staying the course? Are you allowing that there is a time for the seed to stay underground, out of sight, in order for it to truly spring up and produce the healthy fruit that you so desperately want? If you look at the life of Jacob, early on, when he was first sent out from his mom and dad to go find for himself a wife from their relatives, from his uncle Laban, he didn't have anything. And God promises that he's going to give him offspring, and he's going to make his offspring like the dust of the earth, similar to the promise made to Abraham. And he promises that I will not leave you, Jacob, until I have fulfilled the promises I've made to you, until I've done the things that I've promised to you. I'm not going to leave you until I do what I say I'm going to do. And Jacob has a dream of the ladder reaching up to heaven and angels ascending and descending on it. He names the place Bethel, the house of God. And he says, there's a point where he says, God was in this place and I didn't even know it. And God's making all these fantastic promises at a time when Jacob hasn't seen the fulfillment yet. At a time when Jacob is darn near destitute. He has no wife, has very little possessions, if any. But he says, God was here and I didn't even know it. God was here in the time before the harvest. God was here in the time before the promises came to pass. God was here and I didn't know it. Do you realize, my friend, that God is with you right now, and you may not have known it? You may have been telling yourself he's not. You may have been assuming that you didn't earn his presence and you didn't earn his favor, and somehow you didn't perform enough to get him to bless you. Maybe he is blessing you as you speak, and you don't see it yet, and you don't feel it yet, and it's a difficult time, and it's a desert time in that sense. But he's with you. And he's blessing you. And he's putting seeds under the soil. See, Jacob went from that place to go find a wife from his uncle Laban, wanted to marry Rachel, and had an agreement. I'll work 7 years, and then you give me Rachel as my wife. And Laban tricked him. Jacob fulfilled those 7 years, and Laban secretly gave him Leah. See, you and I would look at that in our lives and be like, yeah, it's a sign. God isn't pleased with me. God is not for me. He cares about everybody else. He doesn't care about me. Guys, we have such weak countenances. We have such weak grit muscles. You hit a snag as you're going forward, thinking that you're under God's favor and promises. And as soon as that snag comes, you take it to mean that God doesn't
see you with favor, that he's not out to be your advocate, to be your champion. And so you think you're on your own now because somehow you haven't passed his test. And it takes you away from his heart. It moves you out of intimacy with him. Now it becomes all about you instead of still making your life about him. Because if he's not going to fulfill his end of the bargain, then somebody has got to look out for you, so you do it. But what if your unbelief in his favor over you is more a problem than the circumstances that come up that get in your way? What if you navigated Laban double-crossing you with an attitude of, God, I thank you that even when the world means me harm, you and I, we're together, we're one, we're united, and you're not going to leave me until you've fulfilled your promises. I believe it with all my heart. And right now, I don't see it coming about, but I know that you're pleased with me, and there's no reason for you to not fulfill your promises. And you know what? It's not even linked to anything I've done or my performance. It's all because of Jesus and what he did on my behalf. And now I get your favor because he earned it. I guarantee you have that attitude in the trials. It's going to change your life. For a seed to grow up and bear fruit, there is a time of germination in the ground where you don't get to see it. But stop assuming that it's just not in the cards for you. Now, for some of you, you might need to make some changes. You might be living in sin that's blocking God's favor. Or he's like, I'm not going to bless you until you get right. Until you let me shift your heart to do things my way. And get that. That might be the case. But for many men, you walk around feeling defeated and as though you're not enough because the results aren't showing up. It's time to stop. Yeah, look for where you can grow. Yeah, maybe you need to improve your skill set. Maybe you need to change your mindset. But it can't be done from a place of lack and poverty where you are all on your own as an orphan and God is displeased with you, so you've got to get your act together. What if he's pleased with you? What if you have his favor and the results aren't here yet, but he's still pleased? And he's gently and kindly and excitedly leading you into the new season of growth, into the new mindset, into the new version of you that you need to become in order to steward the harvest that's coming. But what if it's not from a place of self-condemnation and judgment? What if it's from excitement? Something to think about, gentlemen. Don't give up on the promises. Don't give up on the healing. You pray to be healed yourself, don't give up. You pray for someone else to be healed and you didn't see it right away, don't assume it didn't work. Believe in your heart it did. Awaken the faith. Because God is with you right now, even though you didn't know it. But if you keep telling yourself he's not, you're never going to experience that reality. I hope this sinks in. I love you. Let's do this.
This is Matt Halleck signing off and thanking you again for being a part of the Man Warrior King community. If you want more, head over to manwarriorking.com. And please remember to take just a couple seconds to subscribe on iTunes and to leave a 5-star rating and a review so that more and more men can join us as we become awesome. You are a kingdom man. Go out, take more ground, push back darkness. Remember, you bring value into your home, your work, and your circle. You are not a taker, you are a giver. Abundance is your atmosphere.